Just off of the famous the Main Street in Woodbury's downtown district, we've got the first round of South Jersey Group 1 playoffs. On the girls' side, it's our first half of a doubleheader between the Burlington City Blue Devils and the Woodbury Thundering Herd. Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Wilkins. I'll be joined by Ben Weldon on the call and Damian Waiters on the production this afternoon. They'll be switching spots for the boys' game later tonight between Audubon and Woodbury. But first, we've got a girls' game between Burlington City and Woodbury that is quite intriguing. Woodbury comes into the game at 12-15. They're 3-7 in the Colonial Liberty, but they have ripped off a few key wins going into the ball game. They picked up big wins over Florence and West Effort and closed out their regular season with a win over Camden Tech and a post-cutoff loss to Gateway. However, on the other side, for Burlington City, they only have 5 players in the book tonight. This Burlington City team, as a 9 seed in South Jersey Group 1, is going to have their hands full tonight, as they do have their leading scorer in, Kamaya Cole, the sophomore, who is in the starting lineup but did not play in the last few games that the Blue Devils played. But Burlington City, they're 15-8, but don't let it fool you. They were 15-4 as of February 6th, but they had 5 home games to end the season, and they lost their last 4. They lost to Morristown Friends, Bordentown twice, and Holy Cross Prep. So as it stands, we are going to take a quick break, and we're going to resume our coverage in just a moment after the national anthem.
Starting lineup for your Thundering Herd. At point guard, freshman number 2, Jamia Solomon. At guard, junior number 1, Janessa Robinson. At guard, sophomore number 4, Brianna Gardner. At forward, junior number 3, Gabriel Howell. And at forward, senior number 5, Zoe Bell.
Well, we're going to get ready to go here from the famous Cat Payne Gymnasium here in Woodbury, New Jersey. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Ben Weldon before I cut you off and before I sent you to the commercial break, this is a Burlington City team that has had a lot of ups and downs this year, but they still possess a better win-loss record than the Thundering Herd. So for Woodbury, even though they're the home seed, they do have to still defend this Blue Devils team that is coming in with a 15-8 record.
Yeah, Burlington has a lot of scorers who can get a lot of stuff done. They have 3 players who have over 200 points. The only problem here, Dan, is one of them is not playing in the lineup tonight. So we're going to see how Burlington City can face this adversity and get the job done tonight.
Yeah, Mina Salafi is in the starting lineup, who, I apologize, the lineup that I got from the book was not the same as what was announced. So Amina Asalafi is a starter in this game, along with Ariana Mateo, who has not scored this season. She has played in 9 games, but has not recorded a point. Meanwhile, as we mentioned, Samia Ward, 220 points for her, 266 for Camilla Cole, and 220 as well for Maya Boykin. First round of South Jersey Group 1 girls is underway. First possession to Woodbury. Woodbury in gold. Burlington City in white and blue is a triple on the right wing, knocked down. And Thundering Herd have a lead thanks to the sophomore Brianna Gardner.
And I like what Woodbury is doing so far. They're pressing them. Burlington City only has 5 players, which is really smart, really get them tired and burned out.
Yeah, I see this phenomenon sometimes at the JUCO level, calling games for RCSJ Gloucester, very thin rosters. But even then, some community colleges have, maybe 6, 7, 8 players. I have never seen a high school team with 5 players on their squad. But I applaud Chris Kingston for staying true here in this South Jersey Group 1 bracket as they trail 3-0. Now another corner 3 is good. It's knocked down by Janessa Robinson. So 2 triples to open up the game in the first minute, and it's a 6-0 Woodbury lead.
You're going to hear her name a lot. Janessa Robinson already has 374 points for this year for the Thundering Herd.
A trap at center court. This one's going to go a shove and a foul. It's going to get called on Clark, number 32. It'll be the first foul of the game, and Gardner will inbound this one. Yeah, Woodbury 3-7, and the Colonial Liberty opened up the year with a 3-2 month in December. Had a losing streak where they lost 4 in mid-January. They actually went 2-9 from January 15th to February 5th as another 3 triples, all golden. This time from Janessa Robinson, who makes it a 9-0 run for the Thundering Herd. And again, this is looking rather lopsided here for a 9-8 game, as going up for the lay, falling away. Didn't you say, Benny, that you're going to hear Janessa Robinson name tonight a lot? How about 9 points in the first 2 minutes of the game and an 11-0 run?
Dan, it seems like Burlington City is just struggling to get over the press, which if they can't do anything tonight, they're not going to have any chance of winning or creating any offense.
Yeah, they're going to wave that shot off there. It'll be on the baseline. Foul will be on the floor. But it's going to get called against Zoe Bell, checking into the game for Woodbury. Will be number 34 in Angelina Luna, the freshman. A lot of young players on both of these teams. Jamea Solomon, the freshman for Woodbury, along with Jenna Hirschfield off the bench, and Angelina Luma, along with Lyric Carr. That one goes up, and Burlington City breaks the streak. That one will go that time from number 10 for the Blue Devils in Mia Boykin. 220 points for her. On the left side, spinning around to the top. Solomon over to the left side, just almost wedged, trying to rip it out. That will be a jump ball as 2 Burlington City defenders got in the middle of it. And possession arrow will go to the Blue Devils. So it's 11-2, 5:45 left in the first quarter. 1 foul on each team. Moving back at half court.
See Janessa Robinson already subbed out of the game. I wonder if the coach is coming up with a game plan for their substitution early in this game.
I think they don't want to overuse her. I think that's the one thing that's going to be important for Coach Letitia Curry, who went 7-20 for Woodbury last year. So this has been a 5-win improvement for the Thundering Herd in the same number of games, as that shot is good. That one goes in from Bell. She's got her first points, and it's now 13-2, 3 minutes gone in the first quarter. Winner of this game plays Haddon Township, who took care of Paulsboro on Wednesday night. Haddon Township, the #1 team in South Jersey Group 1. And this is who the Blue Devils or the Thundering Herd will play with a win. They held Paulsboro to just 13 points in the victory.
But Dan, you got to show some empathy for these Burlington City players out here. Just get in the some of these players, this is their first ever varsity start, and it just shows a lot how when you need the players the most, they can just step up, which you got to show a lot of empathy to these players.
And again, I am not sure the nature of the situation as to why Burlington City only has 5 players tonight. It could be an injury bug, it could be illness. We don't know, and it's not professional of us to speculate. So what it is, you know, Woodbury's taking advantage of this shorthandedness by Burlington City, as they now have a 16-2 run, as Solomon knocked down her first triple of the afternoon. This one off the front of the rim. Al-Shahid goes in, and it will be rebounded by Solomon, who emerges from it. Trying to find just any break as another 3. Woodbury shooting the lights out here in this first quarter. They'll hang on to it now, spinning around and hanging on to it, but not for long will be Clark. She'll have to advance it up the floor. Gotta make sure she doesn't run out of time, and that is gonna be a 10-second violation. I had a feeling she was running out of time. That half-court press was present there from the Woodbury defender Robinson, Janessa Robinson. But now we're gonna get Kingston to call the timeout. Woodbury with a 14-point lead in the first 4 minutes of this one here in the first round of South Jersey Group 1. It's Woodbury 16, Burlington City 2. Welcome back, 16-2, Woodbury with an electric first quarter run. The Thundering Herd have made 4 3-point baskets here in the early going. This is one of 2 games today here at the Cat Payne Gymnasium, as this one just doesn't fall. We saw Woodbury in our first girls basketball game of the year. They picked up a 67-33 big win over Pennsgrove. Their first-year head coach, Jennifer Denby. That was at the Red Devil Classic. Moving inside, trying to get something out of it. Just has to dump it off. Boykin turns it over. And it'll go back to the Herd as Robinson will bring this one up. Almost got turned over. Solomon is able to save the possession. It's Howell on the right, back to Bell at the top of the key. Moving over to the left side. Moving in, Euro is good. Very nice move there by Howell. And now, just 5 minutes into the game, all 5 Woodbury starters have points in the scorebook, and it's 18-2.
That's great passing there from Woodbury. You know, didn't rush too much, gave 3 passes and then made a really good shot. Really good move there by Solomon.
Yeah, and this Woodbury team, again, we talked about Burlington City in the Open. They've lost their last 4 games, all of them at home. And we're going to have a carry called on the Herd. So inbounding will be Robinson. She'll bring it up to Brielle Gardner. 2:40 left in the first. Out to the left side. Firing in. Getting it out is Howell for 3. No good that time. Al-Shahid trying to get the rebound. And that will be out of bounds. Yeah, 65-33 was the score of the first game that we saw. Woodbury outscored Pennsgrove 17-5 in the first quarter. only 3 scores were recorded for Pennsgrove in that game, as trying to rip down the rebound was the Blue Devils, and they're going to say that Bell stepped out of bounds, the forward, so this will be a turnover and Blue Devil ball. Janessa Robinson put up a double-double in that game, 12 points, 13 rebounds.
Without Woodbury pressing Burlington City here, it gives Burlington City a little bit more of an opportunity to create their offense and get something going here.
On the right side, moving it back over to the top. For number 32 and Clark. Good crossover move, created some space on the offense. Trying to drive through, took an extra step. No foul, no travel, no nothing. And now we have a travel. So making up for a little bit of lost time there, as it's a 16-point lead still. Woodbury not exactly putting off the gas, but Burlington City playing a little bit better defense than they did in the first few minutes. And we are going to have a foul during the inbound. It's going to be on Burlington City, and Woodbury will have the ball back. That'll be BC's second foul of the first quarter. Moving this one up will be Solomon, the sophomore, or check that, the freshman. And Janessa Robinson, also a very young forward, as that ball just rattles out. Robinson, 721 points as a junior, 373, as you mentioned, going into this game. An average of 13.8 per night. She has made 54 threes in her career. 2 as a freshman and 26 apiece as a sophomore and junior going into this game. And there's a rebound. Howell finds open space. Gardner got hit from behind by Clark. Now she'll set up for 3. It'll go back out to Howell. Bell wanted to take a 3, but a lot of pump fakes here beyond the arc.
And that's the biggest thing here for Burlington City, who's only with 5 people, is they got to get back on defense. Even though when you're tired, you still got to sprint back, because you know what? Even if you're tired, there's no one else on the bench that's going to come in for you.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is, again, this is a little bit unprecedented. I've never seen this before. I've seen this at the JUCO level, but there's also no running clock at the JUCO level. So there may be a little bit of reprieve if this game gets really out of hand. Remember, 35 points at halftime is the threshold, or 35 points at any point in the second half is a nice move. Can't get it to fall. Howell goes up, and she finishes with a 2-point basket. Howell with 4 points, and it's now an 18-point, 20-2 lead with 30 seconds left in the first quarter. Burlington City, like I said, they have had success as of late. Chris Kingston, I should say not as of late, but overall during Chris Kingston's tenure. Hired as the head coach in 2018, taking over for McCann as this ball gets away. Here's a turnover, bounce pass, wide open, and it's good. Layup on the right hand with 5 seconds left for Solomon. He'll try to get something off here. She'll let it fly from half court, and the shot was late nonetheless. But Woodbury with a very impressive first quarter, as in the 8-9 game of South Jersey Group 1. They're looking like they're playing a little bit better than an 8 seed. 22-2 after 1. Welcome back, as the shorthanded Burlington City Blue Devils trail the Woodbury Thundering Herd 22-2 here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Ben Wilden on the call. Damian Waiters is our producer this afternoon here from the Cat Payne Gymnasium. As a 20-point lead for the Thundering Herd, Clark will bring this one up for the Blue Devils. The one basket came from Naya Boykin, and we will have a travel called in the middle of it. Woodbury ball.
And with a lot of these Burlington City players being less experienced, it's going to create for a lot more travels and turnovers. So they're definitely going to have to limit the turnovers later in the game. We
mentioned that two of the non-everyday starters for Burlington City are in the lineup tonight, including Amina Asasalfi and Ariana Mateo, who is a senior who has played in 9 games this year, but has not recorded a point. She did have 2 points during her junior year, which was in a game versus Kip Cooper Academy back in December of 2024. On the right side, nice move inside. Really good passing there. And now going up, there's a foul. A little bit of a, I don't know if Al-Asif's feet left the ground, but she will get fouled. And she will go to the line. So Amina Asasalfi will go to the line for 2.
That's a really good pass there, though, Dan.
Yeah, that was actually a really good possession by Burlington City. I really liked how they were passing the ball without really, dribbling it a lot. They were just finding ways to advance the ball without really getting into too much trouble, and eventually they drawed the foul. So Asasalfi at the line. That one does go. And that makes it 3 points for Burlington City, 22-3. And we have a travel call. Again, winner of this game plays Haddon Township in the second round of South Jersey Group 1. That game is scheduled for Monday, March 2nd. Haddon Township with one of the few teams that has already played their Group 1 game. As you know, the NJSIAA put a little bit of a stop on playoff games due to the foot of snow we got on Sunday. So groups 2 and 4 were originally supposed to be Tuesday. Those games were played yesterday, and now groups 1 and 3 scheduled for Wednesday, now to be played today, obviously.
Yeah, Dan, and if Woodbury does advance to the next finals against Haddon Township, they're very experienced against them. Haddon Township, they played them 2 times, didn't lose to them by that much, and Haddon Township's a really good team, but I think Woodbury, they played a lot of good competition, and I think they're up for the contest.
Yeah, this is a Woodbury team that's only going to get better with time. With all the freshmen and sophomores that they have, it's only going to get better as this Woodbury team and as Letitia Curry advances this team. They went 7-20 last year. There's not too many places you can go but up from 7-20. And even though 12-15 to the average viewer doesn't look all that great, this is a strong team for 12-15. They also play in a very tough Colonial Conference. So, there's a lot to like. We're going to have a travel called on the step back 3. And that will turn the ball over to Burlington City. And you're absolutely right, Ben. They played Woodbury on January 7th on the road. Haddon Township won 37-24. They played them a second time in late January and won 58-33. So double-digit points separated the two nonetheless. But Clark lobs it inside and just can't go. Salfi foul.
I do like Burlington City's penetration to the basket, and they're just like their little quick pass to Kamia Cole down low. I think that's a really good move right there, and Burlington City's kind of trying to find their rhythm here.
Salfi at the line for 2 shots. Off the glass, no good. And Letitia Curry will call a timeout in between foul shots. With 5:55 left in quarter number 2, it's Burlington City 3, Woodbury 22 after the break. There's Letitia Curry on the sidelines. She leads this game by 19 points, 22-3 over Burlington City. As Salafi goes to the line for her second shot, missed her first. Burlington City, the 9 seed, has a better win-loss record than Woodbury at 15-8, 6-6 in the BCSL Freedom Division, which consists of 7 teams, but the number 1 team in that division, Bordentown, got upset last night in the Central Group 2 first round to Robbinsville. And actually it's kind of the chaos bracket of South Jersey high school basketball as the 12 and 13 seeds advance. So imagine if you're a 12 seed, not expecting to have a home game at all, and now suddenly you have a home game in the quarterfinals on Saturday. Got to be a good feeling as that one gets away.
Well, now high school basketball is really the March Madness.
Exactly. Although there haven't been too many on the boys or girls side, really. I mean, the lowest seed that advanced in any of the Central or South brackets was the 13 seed South River in Central Group 2. Now a 3, it's good, but there's a travel. Again, just the fundamentals are being missed here, and I think that's one thing that's hurting both teams right now. Even though this game is lopsided, I think that both Woodbury and Burlington City are hurting themselves with the travels. They're not really putting themselves in a good position, and as it stands, you know, as these girls are trying to get themselves together, get back into this game, as Luna misses the 3, can't have those travels.
I think Woodbury is going a little too fast here. They're up by 19. They don't need to rush any shots here, Dan. They just need to move the ball around. There's no shot clock. Just keep moving the ball around.
They've definitely established the foundation, and I don't think that they're running up the score. I think, listen, you got to get to 35 to get to the running clock in the second half, and right now they're at 19. They were shooting the lights out in the first quarter, and there's another travel as these two teams have really not had the best night fundamentally. Checking into the game for Woodbury will be Carr. Luna Carr, the freshman. She will sub into the game, looks like, for Gardner.
To be fair, Dan, these teams have had off for almost a week now with the playoffs being moved back. So you wonder if that's a reason why these teams are looking a little off right now.
That gets turned over. It'll go to Janessa Robinson. She'll go up. Travel. I mean, there are so many travels being called in this game, they could qualify for frequent flyer miles. I mean, this is almost every possession is something with either a foul or a travel. None of these teams are really getting ahead because there's no opportunities for them to get shots off. Now, I'm not going to blame the referees. I think that most of the travels that are being called, they are the correct call. It's going to go out of bounds. It'll be Woodbury ball, went off the hand of Clark and ended up just straight passing it behind, and instead of taking a backcourt violation, Blue Devils decided to just let the ball go. 4:05 left in the second. Moving inside now for Howell. Gets an open look for Bell. Does not take the 3. That ball gets swiped away. Good move by the Blue Devils. She'll go up with the right hand, and no good. Howell gets the rebound, and now the Herd will bring this back the other way. Under 4 minutes left in the second. Bell slides over to the right. That one gets blocked. Refs say all ball. Gets another look here for the Blue Devils. Moving up with the Euro, just missed. Trying to bring that one down. Salafi no good, and it will go back to Salomon as
Burlington City, though, is doing a good job getting up and down the court here, even though with 5 players and no subs.
Yeah, they're definitely having themselves a good defensive performance. They've held Woodbury. I mean, listen, it was 20-2 at the end of the first. They've only scored 2 points in the second quarter. So Woodbury has definitely been locked down a little bit on defense as, again, 22-3 here, 3 minutes left in the first half. Moving inside now for Clark. She moves back beyond the foul line, beyond the semicircle, now outside the three-point line. Underhand feed to Boykin, no good. Hands everywhere. Ball is loose, not for long though. Jump ball.
Seems like every time something goes Burlington City's way, something else happens and Burlington City just kind of falls off a little bit here. I mean, they're making a lot of mistakes here. They're turning the ball over. They're making a lot of travels. It just seems like nothing's really going their way.
Over to the right side, yeah, a lot of mistakes as Burlington City has scored 1 point. There's only been 3 points scored in this quarter. sliding over to the left, no good. I'll go out of bounds. Burlington City ball, Clark will have it. Hold on. Waiting on a Woodbury player to tie her shoe, Howell. So, tie the old bunny ears, and we'll get back going with 2:26 left in the second.
And for a running clock in the second half, Woodbury would have to go on a 15-0 run right now. So they might have to start picking up the pace here.
Yeah, well, listen, let me clarify. Woodbury is not going to be aiming for the running clock. They just want the best score that they can get. The running clock is really, it's a benefit as we've got a foul and one. Janessa Robinson, who had 9 points in the first quarter, adds 2 more to her name. She put up a double-double, as we mentioned, when we saw Woodbury versus Penns Grove on the girls' side earlier this year in December. Misses the end one, but they get an easy offensive rebound, and that's 2 more points as a big miss there by Burlington City's defense. So it's a putback to make it 26-3. 4 points in a few seconds. BC calls a timeout. It's a 30-second timeout. We will stay here. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on their first try. Book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman, 614 Lambs Road.
For Burlington City, Chris Kingsington has to kind of figure out something here for his squad. I mean, they're down by 23 points right now. Is it realistic to come back? Yeah, you've seen teams do it before. But he's got to come up with some type of strategy to somehow get Burlington City back into this game and playing how they play basketball. I mean, they're not a bad team. They're 15-9, Dan. That's a good record. They just got to figure out a way to get back on track here.
Absolutely, as this is, I can't really blame Chris Kingston. 14-10 last year for BC. They were in a very similar position as some folks going a little crazy on the Woodbury cheerleading side, having a little bit of a solo performance as under 2 minutes left. Again, Chris Kingston and company were 14-10, had a 9-game winning streak in December to January of last year. Lost in the first round on the road as the number 10 seed, so they're only 1 seed better than they were last year. They lost 43-27 to Clayton. The top 2 seeds all advanced in South Jersey Group 1 in their playoffs. Haddon Township took care of Paulsboro. Wildwood took care of Clayton. Did not take the 3. Burlington City's going to make them regret it, but we have a foul in front of the scorer's table at half court. So the other games in this tournament for South Jersey Group 1 are as follows. First of all, let's say Haddon Township beat Paulsboro 51-12. Wildwood beat Clayton 68-18. The 9-8 game is what you're watching right now. Palmyra is playing New Egypt. That is today at 4. Cape May Tech is playing Glassboro. That's also at 4 in the 13-4 game. Audubon is hosting Salem in the 3-14 game. Pennsville is hosting Woodstown in the 6 versus 11 game. And I'll tell you, we saw Pennsville and Woodstown face each other on the girls' side earlier this year in early February. That was a pretty good game. Pennsville won the game by 16, and they're dealing with their interim head coach, Robin Nefelis. As Janessa Robinson now with 13 points here in the first half, 28-3.
How about Pennsville, Dan? You saw what they did with their head coach. They lost their head coach, and they've been on what a run here.
Yeah, the legendary Salem County head coach, as they've now solidified a 6 seed. But it's 28-3. Look away, Atlanta Falcons fans, as we've got 53 seconds left in the second quarter. As 3 fouls for Woodbury, 2 for Burlington City. As crowd filing in here, some of them staying for the boys' game between Audubon and Woodbury to be played at 5:30. I'll have Damian Waiters as the color commentator for that game. So it's going to be Clark over the middle. She'll take her time here. 45 seconds left as Burlington City's going to look to, maximize their chances of getting back into this game here before the halftime break. As this one high off the glass, no good. Moving this one back across the floor. Robinson jump ball as she was driving to the basket. possession arrow will go in favor of the Herd. So Gardner will inbound this one.
All Burlington City's players are thinking right now is they got 29 more seconds and then to go into halftime and get refueled up.
That one goes for Bell. 30-3, and what do we got here?
Just had to switch the arrow.
Okay, there we go. I couldn't hear what the ref said, so they will switch the possession arrow. 20 seconds, 30-3. Robinson with 13, Solomon with 7, Howell and Bell with 4, Gardner with 3, Boykin with 2, Salafi for 1 for Burlington City. Their only field goal has been from Boykin.
Got to attack here,
220 points.
2 seconds.
Yeah, she'll let it fly to beat the buzzer, no good. How about that? 30-3 at the end of the first half. Letitia Curry looks like that she is confident in her girls to possibly send them to Haddon Township on Monday night. It is a 27-point lead, and at the halftime break, we'll be back in 10 minutes. I'm Dan Wilkins along with Ben Wilden. 30-3 after one half.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It is the responsibility of all of us to make sure that our friends, family, and anybody who we hold dear in our lives is feeling well. The problem with spotting mental health issues is that the symptoms aren't that obvious. Just because someone is okay or appears okay on the outside doesn't mean that they're okay on the inside. It's important that if they are in distress, that they call the right people and they get the help that they need. And it is very important that we treat each other with respect, regardless of who you are or where you come from. But it is just as important that we treat ourselves with respect, regardless of the situation going on in our lives. If you're in distress, you can call this number, 988, or you can visit any of these websites if you're not in distress, but would like to learn more information about mental health awareness and research.
Book Dog Pro Wrestling for your next event or outing for the greatest action that New Jersey Pro Wrestling has to offer. Any place, any time, any setting, Dog Pro Wrestling will bring the action to you, and you won't want to miss it for moments like this. But don't just take it from me. Take it from Max Mundo, the Dog Pro Wrestling ambassador.
This is Max Mundo with Dog Pro Wrestling. Are you a civic organization, sporting club looking to fundraise? Then look no further to Dog Pro Wrestling. We do grand openings, corporate events, and much more.
And why not from some of the wrestling talent themselves?
I'm Vinny the Fixer, and I'm the champion of Dog Professional Wrestling. If you want to book the best, come see us. We're the cream of the crop. We'll come to any fundraiser you can think of. Just name the place and we'll show up.
This is the upstanding Dylan Mesh, and for the entirety of my professional wrestling career, dog wrestling has been a mainstay for where I like to wrestle. So you can believe me when I say that it is quality. And I'm upstanding. I'm the only opinion you need.
Yeah! It's your boy Gabriel Hodder here with my man Matthew Oman, and if you want your events to be all fight, no flight,
then book Dog Wrestling so you can witness true primal fear.
Woo!
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Welcome back. Second half ready to go here from the Cat Payne Gymnasium at Woodbury High School. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by my color commentator Ben Wilden out of Pittman High School and Damian Waiters of West Deptford, as we've got first round of South Jersey Group 1, the 9 seed Burlington City Blue Devils and the number 8 seed Woodbury Thundering Herd. It's a 27-point lead at halftime. It was a 20-point lead at the end of the first quarter. It was 22-2, and Burlington City with only 5 players. They have had to give them credit, because we don't know exactly what happened, but they were 15-4 in early February, went on a 4-game losing streak going into the playoffs, and they now trail by 27 here in the end of the first half and the beginning of the second half. A 35-point margin would bring a running clock onto the game that will not change for the remainder of the game. So if Woodbury goes up by 35, they will start a running clock, and it will only stop for timeouts, injuries, or another reason as dictated by the officials. As Woodbury goes up through the middle, right-hand lay, hits the bottom of the rim, and she gets fouled. She kind of miscalculated the shot, but got a little bit lucky there as there was some contact during the shot.
And one scenario you got to think too, Dan, is that if since Burlington City only has 5 players, if one of them fouls out, I don't really know what happens.
So what happens there? Because we actually had this issue come up in a game between Camden County and RCSJ back in late January. The way it works in the NBA and the way it works, I believe, in the NCAA as well, is that if you're down to 5 players and we have a lane violation, if you're down to 5 players and you have one of them foul out, then you can't play with 4 players on the floor. What they do is they play with 5, but the player that has 5 fouls, they will charge a team technical foul, and basically they'll get 2 points if they make both and the possession. So it's like a standard technical foul, except it would be done every single time that they commit a foul with that player that is over the limit. So you can't, I don't know what the rule is in high school, honestly, because I've never seen a situation like this. But we saw a situation like this with Camden County and RCSJ. It's a pump fake. This is going to be a long 2. No good there.
But at this point in the game, it doesn't really matter. If you're Burlington City, you got to play aggressive. This is your last game this is going to be your last game this season. You're down by 28 right now. You got to give it your all and play really aggressive.
Going over the middle, wide open look. Zoe Bell might have taken an extra step, but they'll let it slide. And it's now 33-3, so a 30-point lead as BC will bring this one up. So Woodbury 5 points away from getting the running clock. We'll see if they can initiate it in the third quarter. But again, it would just be an unfortunate way for Burlington City to end their season. I mean, it's one thing to think about it on the other end of the floor. Think about the Glassboro-Woodbury game that we were here for last year, where, we're going to have a hard foul here as Gardner got hit on her way up. She'll get 2 shots. Think about it like how it was last year. What it means to have the lead with 2 seconds left and then fall on a buzzer-beating 3-point shot from beyond half court. It's devastating. It's heartbreaking. But there's 2 sides to the story. Woodbury's going to go to the second round at Haddon Township, and they're going to find a way to compete with a Haddon Township team that has beaten them twice. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. But for this Burlington City team, you go down. There was an 11-0 run to start the game, and Burlington City was down by 20 points by the end of the first quarter. You have to have a little bit of sympathy for this Burlington City team because there's nobody on the bench. These players are still playing all 32 minutes. They are, they may be a little bit tired. They may be a little bit exhausted, but they are giving it their all, and they're trying the best they can versus a very tough Woodbury team that's 12-15. That one's going to go out of bounds.
And if you're Burlington City, at one point in the season, they were 15-4, Dan. I mean, they're not that bad of a squad. They got some good players. They're just missing some players right now. I don't really think they're going to be that bad of a squad in the future if they get these players back.
I absolutely agree. I think that this Woodbury team is giving them a lot right now, but I don't think it's really representative of what Burlington City has to offer or what Woodbury has to offer. This one's going to go up. That one goes in for Howell. She has 6. Howell and Bell have 6. How about that? Bell and Howell, 6 points each. Never mind. Bell and Howell was It was the precursor to AT&T back in the way back yonder years, as that one will be missed on the rebound, 37-3. Chris Kingston will call a timeout. Actually, did Letitia Curry call the timeout? Let's see here. No, Chris Kingston, he put the 30-second symbol over his arm, so he did call that timeout.
He's in a really tough position here. You know, he's playing with only 5 people on his roster, and I think he's doing a good job handling this. He's not really yelling at them. He knows the scenario really well. And I think what a good coach does, he controls his temper, and he knows the scenario really well. And I think Chris Kingston, he's a good coach. You know, he knows how to handle things well. And he's kind of getting his players in a huddle and saying, you know, I know this game might be over, but you gotta do what it is to represent this Burlington City program.
Absolutely, and again, he's got to be a good coach if he was 15-4 at one point or another in his regular season ventures. As Clark will bring this one up, 5:30 and counting left in the third quarter. Moving over the left side, they got the screen. Now they're going to fire it inside. That one's going to go out of bounds. Let's take a look at the BCSL Freedom standings. As Bordentown, we'll fix that and we'll work on it later. But Bordentown did have the division win with 19-4 as their record. A 7-team division. As this one's going to go up, airballed it. We go back to the Blue Devils, who will get Clark on the baseline. 2 girls pressuring. This one's going to go past half court. They're going to let it roll, and now it will be a backcourt violation. So pretty clear there, 5:07 in the third.
And if you're Woodbury, you know, you can be happy about this game, that you got the win for this game. But in like a couple of days, you got to go down to Haddon Township and play one of the best girls team in Group 1. So you really got to be humble here.
Here comes a 3. Curry off the side of the rim. Or pardon, Angelina Luna. Angelina Luna, the freshman. Moving up, got blocked, and now Lyra Carr brings it down. So two freshmen on the floor for the Herd. Moving over, sliding to the right, gets blocked by Clark, and the triple is good. There goes the running clock. It's now 40-3 as Solomon knocks down the triple. She's got 10 points.
Yeah, that's just a great look there. Finds Solomon in the open corner and knocks down the 3 ball.
Here comes a 3. A little bit wide there, but they're going to get a nice putback, and that one will go. So the basket is good by Mia Boykin. She's got 4, and it's now 40-5. Burlington City with their first field goal since the first quarter. They made 1 point off of a foul shot by Salafi, and there's going to be a double dribble called on the Herd.
You've had to see at least 15 double dribbles here tonight, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, well, travels, yeah. But I get what you're saying. It's fundamental mistakes, and that's one thing that you can't really afford to have is fundamental mistakes. But Woodbury, even in a game that they are leading handily, can't afford to make those mistakes when they play Haddon Township on Monday. Taking her time at center court, Clark got a screen, and we're going to have a moving screen called on Boykin.
Especially playing a team like Haddon Township, which they're known for being very fundamental. Every team in Haddon Township, they're just very fundamental team, and they know the basics of the game, and they do not create a lot of turnovers.
Moving over to the left side, Luna, 3. Angelina Luna, the freshman, knocks down a triple on the left wing, and it's 43-5. 2:50 left in the third. Clark taking her time. Again, the clock is running for the remainder of this game. It will only stop for timeouts or injuries, or if there's another reason that the ref needs to stop the clock. But usually for a game at this juncture, they don't stop the clock for anything other than timeouts or injuries. They don't stop them for fouls either. I have seen a buzzer-beating foul shot in the time that we've seen running clocks. Again, this is a new rule formed by the NJSIAA this season as Luna can't get the 3, tries to tip it back in, and Clark catches it on the baseline on one hop. Clark will bring this one up for the Blue Devils. They'll fire inside. Salafi gets the basket to fall. And Burlington City now has 7 points on the board. It is 43-7.
I think it's a good rule. I mean, if a team's up by 35 points, you kind of know the game's over. It's not really realistic for a team to come back.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've seen teams come back from 20. We've seen teams come back from 25. But in a game that only sees 8-minute quarters, I think that it is a good rule for the sake of sportsmanship. I don't even think it's for the sake of squashing comebacks. I think it's for the sake of squashing teams that would run up the score or would find a way to, to really stick it to the man, if you will. I don't think that a lot of teams do that. Like, I don't think Woodbury's going to, quote, run up the score. But I think that it's a way to encourage sportsmanship, and for a game that's getting out of hand, there's no reason to fan the flames or press the issue, especially if the game is very solidly out of hand. And I think 35 is a safe enough number. There's obviously going to be, the rare exception every now and again where a team is going to have a 35-point near comeback or a 35-point comeback in 16 minutes. Maybe Tracy McGrady reclasses to the high school level and puts up a crazy performance. But, the rule is not for situations like that. The rule is for situations like this where the game is very clearly out of hand. And we had 1 minute and 1 second on the clock when that foul was committed. And we're seeing Mia Boykin at the line. Now over 20 seconds have been taken off the clock, and another 10 or 15 will be taken further off the clock when she takes this second shot. So it's not for those rare exceptions. It's for the vast number of games that have very lopsided scores, which admittedly is a very common thing in girls basketball. We see it where look at the 2 games in South Jersey Group 1 that have been played already. Haddon Township held Paulsboro to 12 points. Clayton scored 18 versus Wildwood. The NJSIAA did not initiate this rule for games that have 2 even teams, and they're going to get a shot off here. It will be no good as Howell's on the floor. But as we wrap up this discussion, just basically that it's not a mercy rule, but the running clock is for games like these. As we go to the end of the third, start of the fourth, 43-8. Burlington City getting some points on the board, but Woodbury starting to put them away. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This broadcast is brought to you by the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, or Dog Pro Wrestling, New Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization with high-flying events and nonstop entertainment throughout the Garden State. Visit dawgprowrestling.com for more information, as we've got a 3. No good. And that one gets out. Woodbury gets the offensive rebound.
Yeah,
Gardner.
And Dan, at this stage of the game, Woodbury can just be kind of like practicing plays and get more extra preparation for their next game that's Haddon Township.
Yeah, now that this game's more or less settled, I think the focus for Woodbury and for Letitia Curry is going to be closing out this game on a high note and then, preparing for Haddon Township on Monday. They're going to have the whole weekend to prepare. This is a team that they've played twice, and what's the philosophy we hear over and over again? It is very difficult to beat a team 3 times, as here comes a triple. Curry, or rather Luna. Luna, though, even though I said Curry by accident, she's shooting a little bit like Steph Curry. 6 points for the freshman. A hot start as Clark loses it, and it's a jump ball. So 46-8 as the clock continues to run. Again, the next game will be Audubon versus Woodbury on the boys' side. Some folks filing in for that game. Scheduled to start at 5:30. Right now it's 5 p.m. on the dot here in Woodbury. As trapped on the baseline, she's got to get it out for the 5-second rule.
Yeah,
It'll
Dan,
go over in
that
the corner
game's
for
gonna be a
Brunson.
good battle between Azion Young and Devin Williams. It's really whoever's going to get hot.
Yeah, Audubon's got that interior defense, but Woodbury's got a lot of three-point shooting as Howell misses the first, gets the rebound, and puts back the second. She's got 8. And a timeout by Chris Kingston. It's a full, and with 6:18 left in the fourth, it'll be one of the last times that the clock stops in this game. It's 48-8, and a 40-point lead for the Woodbury Thundering Herd. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back here from the Cat Payne Gymnasium, one of my favorite, if not my favorite gym to cover in South Jersey, the old-fashioned wooden curved roof. They had some renovations done to this gym in the fall. As Woodbury, well, they've been keeping good care of this gym. They've got a new floor, new walls on the outer half, and what I love about games during the daytime is a lot of natural light coming in. A lot like Cinnaminton's gym a little bit, those big opaque glass windows, you know, that they don't let in too much, but they let in enough to, you know, leave that glare on the floor. Really nice. But, you know, Anthony Browning has done a great job of in his time at Woodbury. And you know what, funny enough, he was the former athletic director at Burlington City before he came over to the Herd. We have a foul. It's going to be the first of the quarter. Clock will continue to run here with 5:30 left in the fourth quarter. We'll be on the air on Saturday from Burlington County and Medford as we've got the second round of South Jersey Group 4 playoffs between Vineland and Lenape. Game starts at 7:30 p.m. It's a little bit weird to have a 7:30 p.m. tip-off on a Saturday night, but Lenape is hosting a district wrestling tournament on Saturday during the morning, so they'll need the gym for that. And then they will play, the girls will play Southern at 5:30, and the boys will play, again, Vineland at 7:30. Almost got her third triple, but Salafi gets the rebound, and she'll draw the jump ball.
Honestly, even though Burlington City down by 40, you got to give Chris Kingsington and the squad a lot of credit here. I mean, only playing with 5 players is really tough, Dan. I mean, I remember my team when I played basketball. We had a scenario where we only had 5 players, and it was tough. So you got to really show a lot of empathy for these players.
Yeah, they had to stop the play for a little bit to let somebody tie their shoe. We're going to have a push foul on the ground. So this will be inbounded by Gardner. That one gets tipped. It'll go back out to center court. Trying to swipe at it with Salafi, couldn't get it. Now another scramble. She's on the ground and jump ball. 4 minutes left in the ball game. And a nice round of applause and a nice cheer as Hirschfield, the freshman, will check into the game. Listen to this crowd. As Jenna Hirschfield with 2 points, 3 rebounds, will sub in for Dakota Sellers.
That's what high school basketball is all about. I mean, it's competitive at most times, but you know, also you got to give some, you got to have some fun sometimes. You know, that's what it's all about.
We're gonna have an offensive foul, and they're gonna move everything along here. Foul is gonna be on number 15. That's her third in Salafi. They're gonna check Sellers back into the game, and they are gonna sub out Howell. So again, the freshman, Jenna Hirschfield, she has 1 2-point field goal, which happened back on January 13th versus Lindenwold. That was also a game where they gave up 8 points in a 64-8 win versus the Lindenwold Lions. So Hirschfield got her 1 point, had 3 rebounds in her freshman year. Hirschfield has it. She'll shoot, doesn't go. So 2:45 left in the fourth. Hirschfield also put up a single rebound in a 67-30 loss to Haddon Heights in mid-January. Fired it inside. Boykin can't get it. She falls. Sellers with Salafi, and ball is loose. Hirschfield ripped it away, and it's a jump ball. Kingston will call a timeout. So with 2:20 left, he will call a full timeout. And we will take one more break here, as with 2:20 left in the fourth, Chris Kingston will talk to his girls, as this is a 40-point game, 48-8. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back. Clock's going to run as clock will run after the inbound, as we've got 48-8. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Ben Weldon. Next game is scheduled for 5:30. It's 5:06 right now, so should have about, I was going to say we'll have about 20 minutes, but I don't see Audubon here. They might have gotten caught in some traffic or whatnot. I know traffic was really bad on 295 and 42. Establishing the pivot foot, no double dribble. They'll move inside. That ball gets out of bounds. Went right through the hands of the Herd. With the win, Woodbury will improve to 13-15, which was better, again, still much better than the record they had last year. They were 7-20. They were still 3-7 in the Colonial Liberty. They were 6-8 at their worst in mid-January. Ripped off 3 out of their last 5 to end the regular season. That's going to be a foul and 1. That's going to get called. Gardner gets the basket. That's going to be, it'll be Clark who picked up that. That'll be her first points of the day, as she'll try to pick up the 3-point play here with 1:20 left in the fourth quarter.
If it wasn't for Clark, I really think Burlington City wouldn't have any offense right now. I mean, she's really been the facilitator here tonight. She's been really making all the plays for Burlington City, and you got to give a lot of props to her.
Yeah, even though that was her first points of the night, I give her credit for the fact that she, put herself out there. She had some great defenses. There's some nice defense on a block by Gardner, but it's been really fun to watch this Burlington City defense just work with the best that they can. Again, they're not working with the best resources that they have. They have 5 players. This is the best that they can get. And they're going to get a foul here. We're down to 35 seconds. So this would be the 5th straight loss for Burlington City. They were 15-4 after a 51-21 win over Penn Tech. That was their last win. Losses to Morristown Friends, Bordentown twice, and Holy Cross. As that ball comes out, Luna tried to grab it. We're going to have a jump ball. 2 players getting together. And this is going to send the clock down almost to 0. We've got 10 seconds left. They're going to get everybody separated, but it's not going to matter too much, as the clock will run, and it will continue to run until it hits 0. Woodbury will advance to the second round of South Jersey Group 1 with a dominant 38-point win, 48-10 over Burlington City. And that was something that we expected out of a 1 out of 16 game. But how about that for an 8-9 game? Woodbury, very, very defensively, takes their home court, and they pick up a big win over Burlington City, as they will face the number 1 seed Haddon Township on Monday night at the George Mayer Gymnasium. This has been an interesting one, Ben, but your final thoughts?
I think Woodbury did a really good job. They just came out early. You saw in the first quarter, 9-0 run. Janessa Robinson hits 2 threes in a row. She didn't really have to do though much for this Woodbury squad. I think all around they had a great performance, and I think I'm really excited to see what they can do against Haddon Township for the second round. But they're going to have their works cut out for them. Haddon Township was one of the best teams in all of South Jersey. So they're really going to have to step it up here. I'm really excited what this Woodbury Thundering Herd can do.
Well, Audubon's going to take the floor. They're going to put 30 minutes on the clock, so set your alarms for 5:40. We're going to get ready to go as the second game of the day, the first round of South Jersey Group 1, coming up in 30. I'm Dan Wilkins. First of all, from our entire crew, our social media coordinator, Haley Mejia, our graphics crew, Caleb Lane, Carson Rosso, and Fisher Giannotti, my producer, Damian Waiters, my color commentator, Ben Wilbur. I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll see you in 30 minutes flat, 48-10, Woodbury over Burlington City.